We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Okay, tonight we are going to start off with the spotlight. We have 3 students that we're spotlighting. On that. First one, Preston Good, who reached the state level at the solo ensemble and band.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Preston. Second one is Dakota Willoughby, state wrestling participant. Congratulations, Dakota. And we have William Armstrong, state diving participant.
We have some videos that share a little bit about there.
So I just want to lead in a little bit. You know, it's important for us here at Fountain Central to make sure that we're celebrating all of our students' accomplishments, but especially when we have big time accomplishments out of a group of students. So we hosted a couple of, you know, I guess we kind of call it, we don't have a name for them, maybe like pop-up pep sessions where we did some new things this year to wish Dakota, Will, Preston, to send them off and wish them their best. Mr. Wolf, our assistant principal, graciously captured those things on video, and then within like an hour of the event, had a couple of videos. I know I shared these with the families once they were produced, so we're going to view those tonight and then just kind of one more time celebrate the achievement of these 3 fine young men.
In addition to this, as it's playing, this is where Preston came in, and the night before, just before Mr. Shady had spoken to him, like, hey, is there any way you can play the piccolo going down the hallway? And he's like, yeah, that's cool. Can you play this song, which was the song that Will chose, or liked for the introduction? That's what he's playing right now down the hall in front of everybody. So I had to tie into the video.
All right, everybody, I want to thank everybody for being down here today. A couple of things. First, if you noticed, we had Preston Good obviously leading the procession today. Yesterday, I gave him a lot of notice. I think I pulled him out of class yesterday at 2:40 and said, hey, can you learn like the intro riff or allude to All the Lights by Kanye West? And he's like, what's that? So then I let him listen to the song. I sent him a video, sent him home. I said, look, if you're struggling, you want to back out, you can't do it, if it doesn't work, I'll be on my computer all night, email me, let you know, we'll make up alternate plans. I didn't hear a thing from Preston until this morning when I got him. And I said, you good to go? He said, yeah, I got this. So he learned the song last night. He led us through the hallways today. Tomorrow, he will be participating in the state solo and ensemble competition, playing this flute along with an accompanied pianist. Say that again. And Preston is going to go down there and represent us as Fountain Central. He showed a lot of guts, a lot of courage, a lot of confidence to come through the hallways and meet us today. Can we give it up for Preston Good one time? Obviously, with something going on last week to celebrate Dakota, we wanted to add a little twist. Also want to give a big shout out to Mr. Wolf. Yesterday afternoon, we were hunting for video, we were hunting for pictures. My main man, Mr. Wolf, sat down and pulled that little hype video together in about 2 minutes. He's back behind us right now. Give Mr. Wolf a round of applause for that. All right, now, let's take a minute here to talk about Will Armstrong. Will Armstrong is obviously a sophomore diver here at Fountain Central. Will, if I'm not mistaken, you are making your second straight appearance at the state diving meet tomorrow. Will is going there for the second time in 2 years. It's a huge accomplishment. What I want everybody to understand is this. When you ascend to the level that Will has ascended to, this isn't him getting into the pool to start swim practice and then hanging up the Speedo once swim season ends. Will's season never ends. Will's committed to joining clubs and opportunities and receiving coaching outside of South Central because he found a passion. And he found something that he's excelled at, and he's pursuing it with everything he has. Will's went through this whole season practicing and competing without a pool here. As we all know, our pool's under construction right now, so that's been a challenge. Also, Will's been dealing with a significant injury this year. He hasn't made excuses. He's battled. Up until middle of this week, we weren't even sure if Will was going to be able to continue at the state tournament. But he wants to go down there. He wants to give his best for himself, for his family, for our school, for his swim program. Will's going to go down there tomorrow and represent. I can't wait to get to IUPUI to see him. I need Will to feel some passion, some energy from you. Give it up for Will Armstrong. I appreciate everybody for being down here. I'm going to turn it over to Will real quick. He wants to say a few words and we'll get it back to home. Give it up for Will one more time.
Brian Gonzalez for getting the grant today and ultimately John for the opportunity to die.
Thank you, Dr. Central, for being down here to support our students today. We've got a lot to celebrate, a lot to be proud of. Both these guys are going to have a unique opportunity tomorrow to represent the best of Fountain Central. One more time for Will and Preston. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it. I won't dance now. Where, why? Everybody acting cool now. Don't lie, but that ain't my style. What are you gonna do? What the fuck is you gonna do? I ain't practice my way. He's done the fuck is power. I'm up the door for the man. I ain't even doing what that was supposed to get him. You gotta go get him. And the killers, and the busters, and the powers, and the dealers, and the hustlers. Give me something that you want to the video. I'm a child, I'm a crusher. It's the devil, you're the Chicago, with the fire, then I crush you. We already got the different drama, and when you try to get into it, we gotta get them. Bring the pretty from the top, and never be true. I'm gonna tell it, I'm telling you, you're gonna devil. You're gonna swing the Christian, and then you got to the club. The club comes to the thriller. Don't get into it with the devil, that's celebrity. You better get it, and you're gonna see it on
Imagine that. So fit.
This student right here, Joe is going to the Indiana High School Athletic Association Wrestling State Finals today. Blue group got a lot of teammates, all Dakota's classmates. Since coming up, we've been leading our program. It's the first time we got a wrestler assistant this time at the state level tournament. We've been fortunate enough as the wrestling family to get to send some athletes in the past. But when Dakota's a champion this year at a very competitive weight class at 144 as a sophomore, should have everybody really excited. I know he's ready to go today. We're ready to go. The coach works really hard. He does this year round. He's dedicated himself to preparing for this moment. Dakota, we talked a little bit last Friday before you left. You've earned this, and we're very excited. We're very proud of you. That said, students, staff have been around me for a long time. You know that it's hard for me to give somebody else a spotlight. And when we were talking about this today, I was thinking, okay, Dakota, this is a great accomplishment, but back in my day, I mean, I was a really good athlete. In high school, I mean, finishing at the top of a lot of different events. I've never wrestled before, but I watched WWE growing up a lot, big one guy. And I'm like really confident that if given an opportunity, I could literally easily get Dakota. Can we get after real quick, right? Alright. If I then I'll let my privilege to remove the rest of the year. Somebody once told me the ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
When you go home today, you tell your parents you're going to shave and visit Dakota. We'll in the cafeteria today. You can hear about that here. Really quick, I know Dakota wants to share a couple words, and then we're going to get into the front seat here for a picture for Mr. Wilson. Just a couple words from Dakota. Give it up one more time for us.
Especially my coaches, they pushed me today, and I'm going to be here because of them. So thank you.
You got that workman's comp claim
Yeah.
finally sorted out. It'll be on your desk Monday.
I'm not sure we pay for anything you volunteer for.
All jokes aside, I do want to congratulate all three young men one more time. And realistically, too, it's important to congratulate the families. I know I talked to Aaron and Audra at the event that we had for Will at school. In order to get your kids to be able to follow their dreams to this level, all of them sacrifice a great deal of time, a great deal of energy, a great deal of their finances to help propel their kids, and they do it because they love them and they want to see them succeed. So if we could, one more round of applause for the students.
Now, this is an awesome thing, and when you see these videos, how the school gets behind these kids, man, that says a lot, right? Dakota could go to that wrestling meet and not had that, but when he's up there wrestling, he knows he's wrestling for the whole school. Same way with Will at swimming and wrestling when he's playing that. Is it the flute? Flute. Yeah. I'm impressed you could play that and walk, because I know I wouldn't play that. So yeah. Congratulations, you guys, on that. It's something to be very, very proud of, and we're proud to have you here at our school. So thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay for the board meeting. If you choose to go now that we've honored you, that's fine too. It's entirely up to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome to have those kind of spotlights, definitely. Okay, moving on, we're going to go to the adoption of agenda. It's recommended that the agenda of the April 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Approval of minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the February 13th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Statement, questions from the public. So we have Jeffrey A. Williams.
Yes, sir.
So before you get started, we'd ask you to state your name. You have
Jeffrey A. Williams.
You have 3 minutes to speak.
Oh, well, I thought it was 2.5.
Nope, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to speak. The board reserves the right to terminate a patron's address should an individual become abusive, belligerent, or disrespectful. So we ask you to stay calm.
Oh, certainly not.
Yep. Understand that comments shall be addressed to the board as a whole, not to specific individuals, either on the board or in attendance. The board has no obligations to reply to comments at this time, and no names are to be used. Okay?
All right.
And then when you're ready, go ahead and start your address.
May I approach?
Sure. Yeah.
Believe me, I pose no threat.
Yeah.
Do I look threatening?
No, we read that to everybody at the top.
I was terminated from employment. A couple of dates here. that circled would be the thing you'd really want to take a good close look at, which is something I'm still fighting. Right now, to this day, I cough up a minimum of 6 ounces of phlegm and got a whole bunch coming out my nose too. I immediately after being released from the hospital after 3 days in Williamsport, went straight back to work, and I personally feel I did a very good job before I had to be admitted to the hospital with my chin on my steering wheel because it was that bad. And they had to hold me for 3 days. I was administered 4 courses of antibiotics, and I still have pneumonia. I was terminated. I don't feel that was fair. I won't need the entire 3 minutes. I don't think my termination was fair. In addition to that, a teacher at the high school, junior high, I would say bordered on abusing my child, a substitute teacher by the last name of Duncan.
No names, no names.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. A substitute teacher abused my child. I can't use my child's name either.
No names. Your child is,
My child was abused by a substitute teacher at this school. There's no way to figure out what to do about it without names on that. So, that's it. I was terminated for battling with pneumonia immediately after being discharged from the hospital in Williamsport. I immediately, and I remember the date I was discharged from Williamsport. It was July the 29th. I know that because it's my birthday. And that evening, I immediately went straight back to work. Or the following evening, I went right back to work. And for my soldiering on, my congratulations was to be terminated. And I thought I would bring that to your attention. That's all.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. See, no cussing, swear, nothing. Hopefully I was entirely proper.
You did. Good, thank you. We'll move on to administrative recommendations, claims. Recommended that the prepaid in February and March claims numbered 102746 through 103007 be approved as presented.
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Personnel, it is recommended that Brooke Patton be approved for hire as an instructional assistant in the life skills program at Southeast Fountain Elementary School.
We're excited to welcome Brooke to our life skills team. She's very eager and seems like she's been doing a great job so far. And we hope that she enjoys it here and it continues, so.
Have a motion.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? It's recommended that Hannah Holliday be approved as lead educator in the life skills program at Southeast Fountain Elementary School for the 2025-2026 school year.
Motion.
You guys want to talk about her?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Hannah is a Fountain Central graduate. Her husband and her are looking to get back in the area with their young son. She is a registered behavior technician and has worked in ABA therapy for the last 6 years, but she would like to move from the clinical to the educational setting. So she is coming back here to work in our life skills program in the second lead role, and we are very excited for her to bring that behavior expertise to that role. Just so we can learn a lot from her and give a lot of assistance to our staff down there.
Perfect. All right, I got a motion from Tyler, Second. Kim. All in favor?
Scott, 1 second.
Yep,
Kelly,
good.
was it ever determined, is she starting next year or is she starting?
She's starting this year. She's meeting with Bree tomorrow, all final paperwork.
Okay, so I'll just make sure the minutes reflect that she's
Yeah.
actually starting.
So she'll start
It was 3
now.
start date.
I got you.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. It is recommended the resignation from Henry Schmidt be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the resignation from Sue Frazee be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It's recommended that the resignation from Grace Smith be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It's recommended that the maternity leave request from Abigail Hoagland be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It's recommended that the contract extension for Greg Dean as Fountain Central Junior Senior High School head boys basketball coach for the 2025-2026 school year be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the contract extension for Herb King as Fountain Central Junior Senior High School head football coach for the 2025-2026 school year be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Quotes. It is recommended that the estimate from Town and Country for new cabinetry countertops in the high school nurse's office be approved as presented.
The countertops and cabinetry, when we had the water leak that came through and messed up a lot of that, and we did look at putting it through insurance, but the price for this is just a hair above our insurance deductible. So in conferencing with the treasurer and deputy treasurer, we determined that we should just pay it instead of putting the claim in. One more thing to drive up insurance rates.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It's recommended that the invoice from MCOR in the amount of $13,000 be approved as presented.
This was a bearing replacement. If you recall, we had to have temporary heating in the Augs gym for a while we waited for this repair. And so this is part of that.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It's recommended that the quote from MCOR in the amount of $32,000 be approved as presented.
And this for HW mixing valves to supply and install new expansion tank.
Hot water mixing.
For hot water. That we had to have because we ran out of hot water when it stopped working, we did not have hot water for our kitchens, for our restrooms, or anything.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It's recommended that the quote from Red 8 in the amount of $26,303 be approved as presented.
This is one of the projects that we have talked about with this is the TVs we've been finishing our plan for the TVs like that go into each classroom. So this will finish that up. Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Because it is recommended that the quote from McGraw-Hill Open Court for a new reading curriculum in kindergarten through 5th grade be approved as presented.
The curriculum was presented in an open work session meeting and available for anyone to see. It's one of the options that the state gave us. And Mrs. Morgan and Mrs. Good and the committees here at Southeast Fountain Elementary did a great job of really vetting them and finding the best fit for our district's needs.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the quote from Hardcore Floor Coating to resurface the floors at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School be approved as presented.
Okay, this is one of the things we have talked about with some of our interest money from the GO bond. We were able to do some additional facility improvements. And this is one of those improvements because, as you know, some of the tiles in there are crumbling and becoming a hazard.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? It is recommended that the quote from Patton's Furniture and Carpet to resurface floors at Southeast Fountain Elementary School be approved as presented.
And likewise, this is the same type of work here, except they will have carpet in their hallways instead of the tile. But when you think about the amount of traffic in each building, that's why there's a difference between the two.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Moving on to other business. It is recommended that the SEFSC School Board grant permission to the corporation to request additional appropriations in the education fund resulting from the state mandated transfer from the curricular materials fund to education fund.
Okay, first of all, when the state took over giving us the fee money as opposed to collecting from families, they had us put it into one specific curricular material fund. And then midway through, they changed their mind and it had to be moved into our education fund. However, when we approved the budget, that wasn't the thing. So we have the money, but now we have to
Move
get
to
your
the-
permission to move it where the state wants it moved to.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the overnight field trip request from Ashley Brown and EF Tours be approved as presented.
This trip actually took place last fall. If you recall, Ashley Brown came to the board and did a presentation about it. And then when she did submit to get, since it's a overnight field trip, we unfortunately had to cancel last month's board meeting. So you're getting it after the fact, but word has it they had a great trip.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Excuse me. It is recommended that the overnight field trip request for the FCHS girls basketball team be approved as presented.
And that one hasn't happened yet. So,
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the Fountain Central Junior Senior High School curricular fees for the 2025-2026 school year be approved as presented.
Again, even though families are not charged these fees, we still have to determine these fees, submit them to the state, and that is how we get our reimbursement from the state.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the Southeast Fountain Elementary School curricular fees for the 2025-2026 school year be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Now it's time for the Southeast Fountain School Corporation projects update.
There will be a more detailed email coming out tomorrow to all staff, corporation-wide, board members as well. So I'll just give a brief overview. I met with MCOR last week. Phase one of the pool project, which is the ceiling, that is all done. Ceiling and roof is all finished up. Just a few small things to tidy up on their end. So we are ready for phase two. that is a little bit more of a struggle than we thought it might be in terms of getting people in and getting the project started. They have told me that the projected opening date of the pool has been pushed back to October 1st. They assured me that that was the furthest back it would be pushed. I'm going to stay on to make sure that that happens. We need to have a swim season in our new facility next year. HVAC work is beyond the high school. If you go over there, it looks a mess. Ceiling tiles are out. Hallway prep is being done right now. Once school lets out, they will start in classrooms and make sure that the work is being completed as quickly as possible. They don't believe they're going to be able to get everything done over the summer months, so they will still continue some work once we get back in the fall. Phil and I talked today. I'm hoping that like end of first semester is like I think by spring semester 26, we should be all finished up. Again, that's just my thoughts and opinions. I could be very wrong on that, but I will keep you updated. Because you approved it, new flooring at both the elementary and high school will be completed over the summer. Rather than me coordinating with flooring companies and MCOR, I put the two in touch and said, figure out logistics as far as what it's going to take for the floor prep and floor implementation, and then also, what parts of the building can they be working on at certain times, and then they can figure out all those logistics, and I'll just oversee that as it happens. The last piece of information that I got from the meeting with MCOR last week, the elementary HVAC rooftop units, those were scheduled for a midsummer delivery here. Because of the size of them, they have to be craned on top of the building, and so that work has to be done while no one is here. Their hope was to get that done over the summer. However, the date of delivery has been delayed. It is now late August, early September. So their plan is to do those, to set those rooftop units over breaks, specifically fall break and Christmas break. They mentioned something about they can't travel on interstates over Thanksgiving break, I believe due to increased traffic, and it's a regulation that I don't know. So that's what I got for my update.
Did they give you a reason why they're delayed?
They were not able to. They said that this was the only project that they were delayed in. And so I'm not really sure why it's just us. But if I have an answer at some point, I will share it possibly.
Thank you, Josh.
Okay, thank you guys.
Moving on to elementary report.
As we mentioned, Sue Frazee, we want to thank her for her years of service here. It's bittersweet to see her go, but she's following a passion of hers, and wish her so much luck as she pursues that role. Also, thanks to Grace Smith. She spent a year with us here and was able to find, her passions as well, and they're going to lie outside of education, but we thank her for her service. This evening, we had our Fannie Mae fundraiser delivery, but we really want to thank Aaron Rom and Abby Lawson. They spent a lot of hours counting money and order forms and cross-referencing. I think they were very relieved to see it all go out the door tonight. So we want to thank them just for spending that time, because we were able to make a lot of profit for our kids. So, that's what really matters. We also want to thank Katie Farthing, Jill Sillery, and Mary Gregory. We had our spring program last week, music program and art show. Again, a lot of preparation goes into that. They start right after Christmas, and so for them to spend all that time outside of school to make our students shine, we really, really appreciate. Our PTO has been very busy. They have hosted the carnival. They have hosted Parents' Day. They'll host another one tomorrow, and field days coming up. So we appreciate all they do and our families for coming and making those events really special. As we look ahead, we have 70 students who are signed up for kindergarten roundup next week, so that's really exciting. Already just that roundup number is larger than our current class, and we'll probably gain a few more over the summer, so we all like to see those numbers back up towards the 80s for us. We also begin iLearn testing next week for 3rd through 5th grade. It's a big time commitment for our kiddos and for our staff, and so again, it's another big relief when we get through that. As long as it is and as stressful it is, our kids always give 100%. We're all just amazed by how willing they are to persevere and do their best. And so we know they're prepared to do that. And then lastly, it is Assistant Principal Week. And so I want to recognize Mr. Baines. We joke and give each other a hard time a lot. I know it sounds cliche, but truly I could not do this role without him. He's such a good balance. And we're so glad he's here.
Do you have your speech prepared?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
High school report.
So I'm quickly realizing here, I don't feel like last April was as stressful for me as this April has been so far. And we're only 10 days in. When you move an office over down the hallway, it becomes a lot more demanding of your time and your attention. And so right now we're in the middle of testing season, scheduling season, planning season. I feel like we've got 1 foot in this year, 1 foot in next year. We're still trying to make sure that we're in the middle of learning season too. And April has been pretty wild. We are getting ready to start our iLearn summative exams for our junior high students next week. Our ELA and math departments will be testing first, followed by our 6th grade science students, and then our 9th grade biology students also have, and then of course assessment that they will be taking right up until like the end. I think we conclude May 16th with our testing, with like a week break in between. A special thanks to Lindsay Good for helping to ensure logistics are taken care of, and also doing a bang-up job in the classroom for us right now. I can't tell you how many times I've said thank you to her over the last couple of 6 weeks for everything she's doing for us. Super excited about next Thursday, April 17th. I believe this is year 3 for this program. I was trying to verify that. It's certainly not year 2. It's either year 3 or year 4. Teacher for a Day. Mrs. Foxworthy started this as part of a grant that we had acquired several years ago. It's really simple. We take high school students and place them in classrooms with teachers in both our building and the building over here. We have 30 students participating this year. It's such a treat. I'm going to make it a point for me to get around and make sure I'm visiting a few more classrooms. But even after the fact, when you see the pictures and you see your students in those settings, it's just part of an initiative to foster an interest in education as a professional field for students. Maybe just get one student who didn't think it was a possibility and maybe get them to pursue that. We've talked many times over the years about creating our pipeline and growing our own here. We continue to add Fountain Central alumni to both buildings. This is just another step for that. It's just a great thing. Speaking of great things, tomorrow night, I want to encourage the board to attend our Fine Arts Festival. That is tomorrow night from 5:30 to 8:00 p.m. We have music and choir performances. There are also art exhibits. That event gets better and better every year. We are also tying a fundraiser effort to that, or an outreach effort. As you're probably aware, or can be reminded here, another thing that we added to our high school this year to enhance our experience for our students is our internship program. We have students that are placed with various businesses for half day throughout the area. One of those students is Erin Volk. She is placed at the Hope Springs Safe House in Attica. She approached us just a couple weeks ago to inform us that facility experienced a fire which disabled their ability to run the operation there. She came to me and said, hey, can we do a fundraiser? Can we do a food drive? Can we do something? I said, let me get back to you. I kind of had an idea. Essentially, I brought my idea to Erin and I said, look, she's a senior. Here's the steps that I would take if I was trying to organize this. And I kind of gave her a bulleted list. And then she took it from there. So in addition to the Fine Arts Night, she is coordinating a food drive to help Hope Springs. That's going to go on there tomorrow night. She took steps. Every step along the way was all her. She spoke to Mrs. Ward, our art teacher, to ensure that she would be okay with doing it. I instructed her to then get in contact with Dr. Grimes. It's really a cool thing to see a student who's been placed in that internship to now be so motivated to give back to that organization. And again, we also had our facilities maintenance class travel up there today. Hope Springs has a temporary home. Noe Gonzalez took his CTE class up there to help them move some things into their home. So there's been a lot of outreach there, and that's important to us, and we're happy about that. One thing I want to brief you on, I'll be as brief as I can. We started a leadership advisory council. We asked for teachers who wanted to be a part of working closely with administrators to make their case known that they wanted to be a part of it. We've got 11 teachers who have joined Jake and I for 2 meetings now, and essentially it's a place for me to pitch ideas before I pitch them to staff, just to get a temperature check. Here's some ideas, some initiatives. Shoot holes in it. Tell me why I'm a fool for doing this, and then it's been honestly.
It's been really good. It's been really good.
Very honest. The last, we've spent 2.5 hours together over the course of 2 meetings, and I just leave there feeling so good about my day. It's just a great experience to collaborate with our teachers in that regards. Assistant Principals Week, I was showing Jake that it's on my thing, and Kelly did call me and tell me, hey, just so you know, this week, but I knew by Monday, I told her at the beginning of the year, anytime there's a week to celebrate, call me and let me know. She's great about that. If you help me at all this year, make sure I know when all of the celebration weeks are. Jokes aside, Mr. Wolf has jumped right in here at Fountain Central, and he's been exactly what I wanted him to be and exactly what I expected he would be. He's been committed to our students. He's been committed to going the extra mile. He's my right-hand man. He shoots me straight, which is exactly what I need. He brings ideas to the table when it's time for him to do that. He helps me in every way, shape, or form. We're super lucky to have the leadership that we have here, and that extends from everybody up front to this row, as well as Mr. Davenport. I can't be happier with the direction we're going in. Mr. Wolf's played a big part in that. My last thing tonight, I know Dr. Grimes has worked really hard to get the improvements in our building that we need. I know that the board has been extremely supportive of that. I know that Mr. Davenport has done a great job all year of keeping me informed, of pushing projects through, of troubleshooting, of being transparent. I certainly know that the projects aren't getting completed at what we had originally hoped. We all knew that whatever timeline they said, it was going to be different by the end. I appreciate Dr. Grimes' efforts so much. I appreciate the support of the board for making the enhancements to our building. And it's natural to get impatient. It's natural. I smirk sometimes when I just walk in the building. I look, I'm like, we don't have ceilings right now. You know what I mean? But everybody has pushed through. I have not fielded one complaint. I have not heard a squeak out of anybody. When we came back from whenever it was in spring break and we didn't have ceiling tiles anymore, a couple of kids were like, where'd the ceiling tiles go? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Play dumb. Not a single teacher has made a complaint. They all know that we are well supported by this group here in front of us. So I truly thank you for all of that. Know that we're patient because we know that what we're going to have over there is going to be worth the wait. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, we are on to, we don't have student representatives, right? Nobody's here. So we'll go down to discussion items.
First of all, you did approve a couple overnight trips and one after the fact and so forth. One thing I do want to mention, that you do that because it's in a board policy. I do want to look at that board policy because one of the things that, and it's a good problem to have, we had teams that suddenly went to regionals or state or went somewhere, and you find out today that they're going 3 days from now, so there's not necessarily time for board approval for some of those things. So I will be bringing to you a recommendation for a modification in that policy so that there are some that can be approved directly by the superintendent instead of.
So why is it like that? Is that just one of those things that's always been like that? Nobody's ever changed it?
That policy's been since 1978.
That's what I figured. That's why I asked. We run into that.
So, yeah, so that's where it came from.
Okay.
Second thing I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, certainly our state government is working to reduce the burden on Indiana taxpayers for property taxes. And as property owners, we can celebrate that. But as a school superintendent, it makes me a little nervous. SB 1, which went through today, it's now going back to the House and then presumably for the governor to approve. There has been some adjustment to what was initially proposed for the budget and how it will affect schools. But in its current standing that went through today through the Senate, Southeast Fountain will lose about 2.8% to 2.9% each year over the next 3 years from our operations funds, because the tax dollars is what pays for transportation and maintenance and anything other that's not instructional. So in all, it's much better than what the initial proposed budget was when this all started at the state. But at this point, as I said, we'll lose about $500,000 over the next 3 years. So I want you to know that we're working both in the district and I'm working with the board to see where we can make those cuts that will cause the least amount of hurt to the district. We know that we've got to figure out ways to do what we still do, have the programs we have and the operations we have, but find out ways to do it and save some cash in the process. So we're working at that. Secondly, I just want to go on to the statements from the superintendent. Our students have left, but I'll tell you, of all of the things that I get to do in this district, celebrating our students is the best. Another thing I got to celebrate this week, every year we take our top 10 seniors to lunch, and I got to go and sit with those kids and ask them about what their plans are afterwards and just get to celebrate them. And, between those kids, these kids here, and all of the kids that walk through our doors, there's something to celebrate every day. And it's just truly a pleasure to do that. But not only do we celebrate our students, sometimes we have some staff members that get called out by their colleagues. And when I get those acknowledgements, I like to share those with the board. So I would like to share an email that I received on March 14th from Officer Rainey, our SRO that works primarily here in this building. He said, I wanted to let you know how much Mr. Baines has done for our elementary students. I was working in Hillsborough last night when a fire call came out in Malad. I responded when I heard there was a child at the house. I arrived and found out everyone was safe, but all belongings in the house will be a total loss. I recognized the child as one of our students. After I confirmed this, I contacted Mr. Baines. He was at the school for a wrestling meet, but said he would grab a toothbrush, deodorant, and clothes for the student. Mr. Baines arrived on the fire scene and comforted the student not long after I made the call to him. He gave the student all the items, then gave the family food that he had left over from a pitch-in that they had had at the school that day. I wanted to let you know because this makes me so proud of him and of our school for his caring actions. The student needed a comforting face and the kindness that was shown by Mr. Baines. To me, this is going above just being a great assistant principal and a good man, but this went above what he had to do, and he represented our school corporation in a great way. Again, I'm just proud to be able to work with someone with that big of a heart, and proud that my kids can go to a school with someone that cares so much for his students. So thank you, Mr. Baines, and congratulations on receiving an accolade from your colleague. I know you don't do things for the accolades, but we're very pleased to have you. Thank you.
Okay, statements or concerns from the board?
I
You know-
just want to
go ahead.
reiterate what Mr. Shady said, and because we are, and I know we say it a lot, but we really, really, truly appreciate, and we really mean it, that we are so happy with our leadership and admin team. We're just, you guys do such a great job, and we just enjoy you, and
Thank you.
I'll piggyback on that. I have that written down, that we're so proud of the administrators and very happy with the administrators and the admin staff that we have. That's all of it, right? I mean, when you get a group of you together like we have, it brings the school spirit up. I mean, I'm so happy that that was one of the things we talked about early on. When I first got on the board, it's like, this is not the school I went to, right? There's no school spirit here. Now we've got it again. When you see those videos and the kids are out there cheering and rooting for each other, man, it just gives me that cold chill that, we're getting back to that, what it used to be, so thank you guys very much for that. I am extremely proud to be a part of this school corporation. I just want to say that with what's went on with my family over the last couple of weeks. I appreciate it very much. I just want to say that. I know with Marcus being here, I feel very proud and humbled that you guys are willing to take care of you. I just want to say thank you for that. Anybody else? Okay, we call for a motion for adjournment.
Sorry, I'm a terrible group speaker. That's why I came back.
Okay, but you only get to 3 minutes and you used your 3 minutes. So if you want to come back to another meeting, you can sign up and speak again.
A minute and a half.
No, you spoke for full 3 minutes. Yep. So if you want to come back to another meeting and sign up, you're free to do that. But we only have this agenda. We go through the public speaking, you get your 3 minutes, and that's all you get. So sorry, you'll have to come back to another meeting if you want to speak again.
I'll just address Mr. Baines directly then. I like you. You're a good dude. Anybody that wants to write down the phone number, 630-854-6482, 630-854-6482. In reflection on what paperwork was presented earlier, I appreciate it. And no, I did not speak 3 minutes.
Motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?